Most people assume bad money decisions come from ignorance, from not knowing enough, from being careless, from making obvious mistakes. But that explanation is comforting and wrong, because some of the worst financial decisions are made by people who are intelligent, capable, and highly educated. People who succeed at work. People who plan carefully. People who think long and hard before acting. So why do smart people struggle with money? Because intelligence doesn't protect you from bad systems, and it doesn't protect you from psychological traps. In fact, it often makes them harder to see. Smart people don't fail loudly. They don't gamble everything away. They don't make reckless choices. They don't ignore responsibility. They fail quietly. They optimize what already exists. They improve what's familiar. They become very efficient inside systems they didn't design. And over time, those systems quietly limit them. For smart people, stability becomes the goal. A steady paycheck, predictable expenses, a life that feels controlled and sensible. And once that stability is reached, the danger begins. Because stability feels like safety. Nothing is broken. Nothing feels urgent. There's no obvious reason to change. So the mind stops questioning. You stop experimenting. You stop building. You stop thinking in terms of leverage. Not because you're lazy, because the pressure that once forced growth is gone. This is where smart people get stuck. They mistake calm for progress. They confuse predictability with security. They assume that because things are working now, they will keep working. But systems don't care how smart you are. They evolve quietly. Costs rise slowly. Industries shift gradually. Opportunities move elsewhere. And because the change is subtle, it's easy to ignore. Smart people are especially vulnerable here. They can explain their choices. They can justify their routines. They can rationalize why now isn't the right time to change. They tell themselves they're being responsible. And because it sounds reasonable, the trap stays invisible. Here's the paradox. People under financial pressure are often more creative than people who are stable. When resources are tight, thinking changes. You look for leverage. You question assumptions. You stop relying on effort alone. Necessity forces systems to emerge. But when life is stable, urgency disappears. Income becomes linear. Effort becomes routine. Growth becomes optional. Smart people adapt to stability very well. Too well. They learn how to perform inside the system. How to advance incrementally. How to trade time for money more efficiently. But efficiency inside a bad system doesn't create freedom. It just makes the system harder to escape. This is why intelligence alone doesn't build wealth. Because intelligence often gets spent optimizing the present instead of redesigning the future. Smart people rely on discipline. They believe if they stay consistent, focused, and responsible, things will work out. And discipline does work. For a while. But discipline requires constant decision-making. What to say no to. What to prioritize. What to delay. And over time, comfort erodes all of it. Energy drops. Attention scatters. Motivation fades. Not suddenly, gradually. This is why stability without systems is fragile. It depends on one paycheck, one role, one industry staying the same. It assumes tomorrow will look like today. But systems change whether you're prepared or not. They don't announce themselves. They don't wait for permission. They just shift. And when they do, effort alone isn't enough. This is the moment most people panic. They try to work harder. They try to be more disciplined. They try to make better decisions. But the problem was never effort. It was dependency. Dependency on a single source of income. Dependency on constant motivation. Dependency on always making the right choice. Wealthy people understand this. They don't chase stability. They chase control. Control over how income is generated. Control over where effort is applied. Control over how decisions compound over time. They design systems that keep working when motivation disappears. Systems that reduce reliance on willpower. Systems that don't require constant attention. systems that absorb shock instead of collapsing under it. Most people do the opposite. They try to be smarter, more disciplined, more careful. But intelligence doesn't fix structural problems, and discipline doesn't scale. The real danger isn't poverty. It's comfort without leverage. A life where nothing feels urgent, where every day looks the same, where intelligence is spent maintaining stability instead of building resilience. This is why smart people make bad money decisions, not because they don't know better, but because the system rewards short-term comfort over long-term control. It rewards predictability over optionality, safety over leverage, familiar routines over structural change. If your life feels calm, predictable, safe, ask yourself this: is this stability or stagnation? Because comfort never announces when it becomes a trap. It doesn't warn you. It doesn't rush you. It just quietly closes the door behind you. And by the time you notice, the cost isn't money. It's time, momentum, freedom. That's the real reason smart people get stuck. They mistake intelligence for immunity, and they don't realize the trap until they've been standing inside it for years. If this made you uncomfortable, you're probably thinking in the right direction. Subscribe if you want to understand money beyond effort and advice.